Good evening, everybody. Am I audible to everyone? Harini, Pooja, good evening. Mohan Kumar, good evening. Durga, good evening. Yes, am I audible to everyone? Rohit, good evening. Gokul, good evening, everybody. Naveen Kumar, good evening. Am I audible to everyone? Yes, good evening, everybody. So, what we discussed yesterday? Please respond. What we discussed yesterday? What are all the different data types available in Java language? Please respond. What are all the different data types available in Java language? What are all the different data types? Yesterday I was discussing, right? Today I am going to discuss with you about comments. So what are all the different data types available in Java? Please respond. I want this to be an interactive session. So in this 30 days masterclass, so I was discussing, so it is going to be a 30-day industrial activity. And every day the classes will be conducted live in the YouTube channel from 6 to 6:45 in the evening. Once you attend this masterclass for 25 days, you will be receiving a free webinar certificate. And the internship users, they will be receiving an internship certificate as well as a participation certificate. Alright. So during the live class, the organizer will post the Google form link in the live chat. You have to fill in the attendance every day. Alright. So what you are going to get in this 30 days masterclass. So every day you are just going to invest some 45 minutes from 6 to 6:45 in the evening. It is just, this is our learning plan. So it is just split into 5 parts. In the first section, I am going to give an introduction to Java. So what do you mean by Java? I will be discussing with you about some OOPS concept, object-oriented programming system concepts. And in the second module, I will be discussing. So firstly, I will be discussing with you about Java language. What do you mean by Java? And I will be discussing with you about different concepts. What do you mean by inheritance, polymorphism, abstract class, interfaces? And in the second module, I will be giving an introduction to HTML, hypertext markup language. What are all the basic elements, paragraphs, colors, forms, different types of attributes present in HTML. Alright, what is the use of form tags? I will be discussing with you about different types of tags and attributes present in HTML. And on the third section, third module, I will be discussing with you about servlets. I will give a brief introduction to servlets. What are all the different types of exceptions, database access. So I will be discussing with you about servlets. Alright. So how to create session, how to create some cookies. So servlets is one important component. So whenever I am going to discuss with you about this full stack, so servlet is one important component. And in the fourth module, I will be discussing with you about MySQL. So what do you mean by MySQL, JDBC, Java database connectivity, what are all the different components of JDBC, MySQL. I will be giving you some examples. How to interact, how to connect the Java with the database. What do you mean by MySQL? Structured query language. How to interact with the database, how to create some tables, how to insert records, delete records. And finally, in my fifth section and in the final module, I will be discussing with you about some applications of this Java language, project building. So how to develop some projects using this Java language. So this is what we are going to see in this 30 days masterclass. Firstly, I am just going to give an introduction to Java. What are all the different types of variables, Identifiers. So yesterday I was discussing, so what are all the different types of variables present in Java, identifiers, and what are all the different data types. So whenever I am considering any type of programming languages, I can go for Java language or I can go for Python language. So whenever I am going for any kind of programming languages, so I have to know the corresponding data types. Yesterday I was discussing, so as I was telling you, right, so the entire Java language, it is based on the OOPS concept, classes and objects, object oriented programming systems. And today I am going to discuss with you about comments. So what do you mean by Java comments? I am going to discuss with you about single line comments and multi-line comments. And then on the following days I will be discussing with you about different types of loops. What are all the different types of loops present in Java, decision making statements, and ternary operator. So what is the use of ternary operator, switch and case statements, arrays. So I am going to discuss with you about different concepts present in this language. What do you mean by inheritance, method overloading, overriding, Java strings, string methods, regular expressions, exception handling. And on the 11th day, from day 11 to day 15, so after that I will give an introduction to HTML, front end, how to develop some web pages using this HTML, hypertext markup language. What are all the different types of tags and attributes present in HTML, hypertext markup language. And then I will be discussing some colors, cascaded style sheet, links and images present in HTML, forms, form attributes. After that, I am going to give an introduction to servlets. So what do you mean by servlets? How to life cycle of servlets. So how to write some filters, how to handle some exceptions. Followed by structured query language. So MySQL, for doing this full stack web development program, so I will be using this SQL, structured query language. How to insert records, how to create database, how to drop database. And then I will be discussing with you about JDBC, Java Database Connectivity. How to connect Java with the database. What are all the different components, driver connections. I will be giving you some practical examples. And finally, I will discuss some applications of this language. I will be discussing all these are the different projects. So I will be discussing with you about erasure coding. What do you mean by this project? Public auditing. So different types of cloud concepts. What do you mean by public auditing? Counseling management system. So how to develop this project, and software puzzle. It is based on the data mining concept. So what do you mean by software puzzle? Crime management system. And then finally I will be discussing with you about secure multi-owner data sharing. So all the projects, I will execute all these projects in the NetBeans IDE. So once you are going to attend all these live classes, you will be receiving all the PPTs, the corresponding assignments. You can participate in the hackathons. So you can 30 days internship. It is going to be a 30 days internship program. If you are interested, you can go to Pantech e-learning and you can register for Java Full Stack Masterclass program, JFSMC. This is the coupon code. Once you register for the internship, you will be getting access to the PPTs, the recorded videos, the project files, how the projects are being developed. You will be gaining more practical knowledge. Once you attend this masterclass for 25 days, you will be receiving a free webinar certificate. And the internship users, they will be receiving an internship certificate as well as a participation certificate. Alright, if you are interested, you can go to Pantech e-learning and you can register for Java Full Stack Masterclass program, JFSMC. This is the coupon code. Once you register for the internship, you will be getting access to the PPTs, the recorded videos, the project files, how how the projects are being developed. You will be gaining more practical knowledge. Once you attend this masterclass for 25 days, you will be receiving a free webinar certificate, and the internship users, they will be receiving an internship certificate as well as a participation certificate. Alright. So next I am going to discuss with you about different applications. So I was discussing with you about different applications of this language. What do you mean by variables, identifiers? And yesterday I just stopped with classes and objects. For example, how to create a project in this NetBeans IDE. Anybody can tell me? Yesterday I was discussing, right? So how to create the project in this NetBeans IDE. Just go to the file and there is a new project option. So I can go for different types of projects. I can go for Java project, Java FX, Java Web, Java EE. Say for example, whenever I want to create any Java project, I am clicking the next button. So I can go for different types of projects. Say for example, I am giving the project name as sample project. So just click the finish button. Alright, so whatever is the project name, just give the project name. You can see the corresponding project has been created. Sample project 1. So inside this, yesterday I was discussing with you about classes and objects. So how to create a class and how to create an object. For example, I have just created a class. Say for example, I am creating a class. Whenever I want to create any new class, just right click this package and there is an option called new option. I am going to create a new Java class. So I am going to create a class called flower class. Alright. And inside this, say for example, I am creating a method, public void. I am just creating a method called blossom. And inside this I am coming system dot out dot println. I am just saying flowers are blossoming. So I am just printing this message. Flowers are blossoming. Alright. And inside this I am creating a main method, public static void main. The argument is passed as a string array. String of space args. And inside this I am creating an object of this flower type. Say for example fd, df or fd, whatever I am saying, equal to new flower of. Alright, so I am just creating an object of this flower type. And fd dot blossom. So I am just calling this blossom function. So whichever functions I have to call, so I have to call the corresponding member function. So using this variable name fd dot, I have to call the corresponding member function. Clear? So you can see once I have typed this code, yesterday I was discussing. So the entire Java language, it is based on classes and objects. Whenever I want to create any new class, I have to use the class keyword followed by the name of the class. It is prepended by the corresponding access modifier. So I can go for public access modifier or I can go for private access modifier. Clear? Just run this file. You can see here the corresponding message has been output at the console. Flowers are blossoming. Whenever I want to call any of these member functions using the object, so I am creating an instance of this class type flower. Using this object, using dot operator, I am just calling this blossom method. So today, yesterday I just stopped with classes and objects. So hereafter, whatever concepts I am going to discuss with you about Java, it is going to be based on, everything is going to be based on classes and objects. Clear? Today I am going to give an introduction to comments. So what do you mean by comments? Java comments, it is one more important concept in this Java language. So I am going to discuss with you about single line comments. What do you mean by single line comment? And then I will be discussing with you about multi-line comments and documentation comment. What do you mean by a comment? Anybody can tell me what do you mean by a comment? So you can have comments in any type of language. Protected RAM, I will just discuss with you about access modifiers. My screen is visible now. So I will just discuss about access modifiers. I am just giving an introduction to this language. I will just discuss about access modifiers. So what do you mean by comments? They just provide a brief description about my Java code. So whatever coding I need to do, so they just provide a brief description about my Java coding. For example, you can imagine what is the use of comments. It plays a very, very important role in order to improve the readability of my application. For example, I am building a bigger website for a hospital management system. So you can just imagine how I am going to organize different contents, different things. Firstly, I should initialize the variable. So I am just giving whatever is the name of the patient. I am giving the comment as patient details. So whenever you can see this commented part, you can just understand. It contains the details about that patient. So in order to improve what that piece of code is doing, so for better understanding, whenever I am developing some bigger applications, I am developing a website for a hospital management system. So just by looking at that commented part, I can just understand what that piece of code is doing. That is the main use of using comments in Java language. It just provides a brief description about my Java code. Comments can be added to a particular part of the program so that that part will not get executed while executing another part of the program. That is the main use of going for this comments. The commented part will be ignored by the compiler. So whenever I am going to compile, the commented part will not execute. The other parts will be executed. So what do you mean by comments? Say for example, I am just giving a simple example of a single line comment. For example, it is prepended by 2 forward slashes. So whenever I want to write any comments, it is prepended by 2 forward slashes. So I am just telling here patient details. So whatever is the name, so I have to give the corresponding name here. So it is prepended by 2 forward slashes. I am just giving here as patient details. So it contains the name of the patient. So patient ID. So what are all the other required things? It contains everything. Patient ID, patient name. And for example, in a bigger hospital, I have different departments. So whether that patient belongs to a cardiological department, gastrological, neurological department. So it contains all the essential patient details. It is prepended by 2 forward slashes. Single line comments are prepended by 2 forward slashes and multi-line comments are prepended by slash, asterisk and then asterisk slash. That is the main use of going for this single line comment and multi-line comment. Say for example, this is a simple example of a comment. So it just provides a brief description. Similarly, I am developing a website for an academic institution. So what are all the different things it contains? It contains the student details. So I am giving separate comments. For example, I am storing the age of the student, what is the name of the student, to which department he belongs to. And whenever he is a new student, he is going to have a register module. So I am just giving here as registration. Whenever I am defining some user-defined methods or functions. So they just provide a brief description about my piece of code, what that line of code is doing. The single line comments, there are different types of comments available in Java. The first type of comment is called as a single line comment. The second type of comment is called as a multi-line comment. And the third type of comment is called as a documentation comment. All these are the different types of comments available in this Java language. So it is prepended by 2 forward slashes. So I can add a comment at the beginning or I can add a comment at the end. Clear with this? So what do you mean by this single line comment? Let me just give you a simple example of this single line comment. Just right click this. I am creating a new Java class. So whatever is the name of the class, I have to give the corresponding name of the class. Say for example, I am just giving the class name as comment example. Just click the finish button. Clear? So I have to give the package. Whenever I want to create any new package, I have to use the name of the package keyword and followed by the name of the package. And inside this, whenever I want to create any new class, I have to use the class keyword followed by the name of the class, prepended by the corresponding access modifiers. Alright. So I am just creating a class called comment example. It is prepended by this public access modifier. And then I am coming inside. I am just creating a main method, public static void main. The argument is passed as a string array, string of space args. Say for example, I am just initializing a equal to 10. Clear? Say for example, I am just initializing a with the value of 10. I am giving this comment, initializing a with the value of 10. Clear with this? So I can add a comment at the end or I can add a comment at the beginning. Whenever I want to add any type of comments, it is prepended by 2 forward slashes. So firstly, I am just declaring int a equal to 10. So it is prepended by 2 forward slashes. I am just initializing a with the value of 10. And if I want to print something at the output, just give this command system.out.println. So I am going to print this a value at the output. Clear? So after typing this code, just right click and there is an option called run file option. The value of a, so 10 will be printed at the output. So this is an example of single line comment. So it is prepended by 2 forward slashes. I can add a comment at the beginning or I can add a comment at the end. Say for example, I am printing something. So for example, I am initializing a variable. Similarly, I am just saying, so this is how I can initialize a variable. For example, I am just initializing int b equal to 20. Alright. And if I want to add 2 variables, I am just giving this command addition of 2 variables. Addition of 2 variables. Alright. I am just giving here int c equal to a plus b. Alright. So I am just printing this at the output. System.out.println. I am just printing the c value at the output. Just click the save button, right click, and there is an option called run file option. Clear with this? So the commented section, I can add a single line comment at the beginning or I can add a comment at the end. So based on my application, so if I want to provide some brief description about that piece of code, so I can add a comment at the beginning. Say for example, I can add a comment here or I can add a comment at the end. And there is one more type of comment. It is called as a multi-line comments. From the term you can just understand. So what do you mean by a single line comment and what do you mean by a multi-line comments? So the multi-line comments, they are represented by slash, asterisk and asterisk slash. So whenever I want to include more than one line of code, multi-lines of comment, so I can go for the slash, asterisk and asterisk slash. So Java cannot see anything written between this slash, asterisk and asterisk slash. So whenever I want to write many lines of code, many lines of comments, so I can go for this multi-line comments. Clear with this? So based on my requirement, so what is the main use of going for this single line comments or multi-line comments? In order to improve the readability of my application. So based on my project, so what is the use of multi-line comments? For example, I am defining a simple module which computes the net pay of an employee, net pay per month. Say for example, I am defining a user-defined method. So what is the use of multi-line comment? So I can just say, so what this method is going to do. For example, it is going to accept two inputs. Or for example, the average input, the monthly salary, and it is going to compute the net pay. So based on monthly income, it is going to compute the annual income. So whenever I want to provide a brief description about that user-defined method, what that method is doing, so I can go for this kind of multi-line comments. Similarly, you can imagine anything in an academic institution or for example in a hospitals. So you can imagine any scenario whenever I am developing any kind of website, what is the use of this kind of multi-line comments? I will just give you a simple example of this multi-line comment. So firstly, I was discussing with you about single line comments. And next I am going to discuss with you about multi-line comment. So what do you mean by this? Multi-line comments. Whenever I want to create any new project, just right click and there is an option called new option. I am going to create a new Java class. Say for example, I am just giving here multi-comment example. Alright. So I have to give the corresponding class name and in which project this class contains. For example, multi-line comment example, it is present inside this sample project 1. And I need to provide the entire location where this project is located, multi-comment example. After providing all these details, just click the finish button. Alright. So I am going to give a simple example of this multi-line comment. So previously I was discussing with you about single line comments. So similarly I am going to give a simple example of this multi-line comments. Let me just show you a simple example of this multi-line comment. This is how I am creating a multi-line comment. After giving all these details, just click the save button. Whenever I want to create any new class, I have to use the class keyword followed by the name of the class. So I am giving here as multi-comment example prepended by the corresponding access modifier. I can go for public access modifier or I can go for private access modifiers. I can go. So mostly for all type of classes, I will be using this public access modifier. And inside this, I am just creating a main method. Public static void main. The argument is passed as a string array. String of space args. So whenever I want to create any type of multi-line comments, it should be enclosed within slash, asterisk and asterisk slash. I am going to initialize two variables and then I am going to add the variables. So firstly, I am just initializing A with the value of 10 and then I am initializing B with the value of 20. So I have to prepend. This is how I am going to initialize my variables. I have to prepend with the corresponding data type, whether it should be of integer data type or floating point type. So I am just prepending with the corresponding data type. And I am initializing the C variable. So C equal to A plus B. So I am just adding these two numbers. It is stored in the variable C. Clear with this? So what is the use of multi-line comments? So this is how, whenever I want to include multiple lines of comments, it should be enclosed within slash, asterisk and asterisk slash. Just right click this code and there is an option called run file option. Clear with this? So what is the use of multi-line comments? So it just provides a description. So whenever I am developing some bigger application, so I have different types of user-defined methods, I have different classes, different member variables. So if I want to know what that piece of code is doing, so instead of just looking at the code, I can go for single line comment or I can go for multi-line comments. So based on my requirement, if I want to know if I am just initializing some simple variables, I can go for single line comments. And in which situation I can go for multi-line comments. Say for example, I want to know what this method is doing, what is the functionality of this method. I have several user-defined methods and I have several classes, so I want to know what this class is doing. In such cases, I can go for multi-line comments. Just take down this exercise. Find the error in the following code. Just take down this exercise. Find the error in the following program. Just take down this exercise. Find the error in the following program. Have you taken down? Till this part, whatever I am speaking, everything is clear. If you are interested, you can go to Pantech e-learning and you can register for Java Full Stack Masterclass Program, JFSMC. This is the coupon code. Once you register for the internship, you will be getting access to the PPTs, the recorded videos, the project files, how the projects are being developed. You will be gaining more practical knowledge. Once you attend this masterclass for 25 days, you will be receiving a free webinar certificate, and the internship users, they will be receiving an internship certificate as well as a participation certificate. Alright, if you are interested, you can go to Pantech e-learning and you can register for Java Full Stack Masterclass Program, JFSMC. This is the coupon code. Once you register for the internship, you will be getting access to the PPTs, the recorded videos, the project files, how the projects are being developed. You will be gaining more practical knowledge. Once you attend this masterclass for 25 days, you will be receiving a free webinar certificate, and the internship users, they will be receiving an internship certificate as well as a participation certificate. Alright. Till this part, whatever I am speaking, everything is clear. Next, I am going to discuss with you about one more type of comment. It is called as a documentation comment. So commenting is one important part. So whenever I am developing some bigger application, comments play a very important step. So they are nothing but, so what do you mean by this comments? In each and every type of language, so whenever I am going for Python language or Java language or R language, I have different types of comments. They are nothing but the statements in a program that are executed by that are not executed by the compiler and interpreter. So they are used to make the program. So why we have to use these comments? What are all the major reasons? So each and every day I was discussing with you about different concepts. So why we have to use these comments in a code? In order to make the program more readable by adding the details of the code. So whenever I want to understand the code thoroughly, so I can go for this kind of commenting section. I have to maintain the code and I have to find the errors. So just by providing these comments, I can easily find the errors in the code. I can maintain code maintenance and finding of errors. So they are used to provide some information. So as I was telling you, right, so what is the use of this kind of comments? They provide some information or explanation about the variable. So what that variable, what is the use of this variable? What is the use of of this method, class, statement. Clear with this? So far I was discussing with you about single line comment and multi-line comment. There is one more type of comment. It is called as a documentation comment. What do you mean by this documentation comment? Whenever I am developing some larger programs, whenever I am writing some large programs for a project, it helps to create some documentation APIs. For example, I am developing a website for a corporate company. So I want to know what are all the different classes. There will be an admin person, there will be a marketing person, sales person, and there will be a HR person. There are different departments in a corporate company. There will be a finance person, R&D section, factory section. So what are all the different classes? So what is the use of documentation comment? It just provides a description about different classes used in my project. Whenever I am developing some bigger websites, web applications using this Java language. So it just provides a list of all the classes. What are all the different classes that are present in my project? And what are all the different user-defined methods that are present in my project? And what are how many variables are there? Clear with this? So it is prepended by /**. So you can see here. So you can write anything inside this tags. Say for example, I am just declaring. For example, this is how I am just declaring. What is the use of this kind of documentation comments? So it is prepended by 2 sign. Clear? And inside this, I am just coming here. For example, I am just showing for all these are the different classes. I am just creating a class called employee class, or I am creating a class, say for example student class. So what are all the different classes that are present in my website? Whenever I am going for a student website, or I am developing a website for a corporate company. So who are all the employees present in an organization? So how many employees are present in an organization? And how many, for example, I am creating different classes. So what are the classes present? So I have a class called admin class. It just provides a list of different classes. And I am creating a class called sales class. So what is the use of the sales class? Marketing. So I have different classes that are present. Marketing classes. So there will be an admin person, sales person. So what are all the different classes that are present in my project? So it just provides a document. So a collection of different classes. So whenever I am looking at this, so I can understand what this project contains. Say for example, person A, he is just developing this project. So whenever a new person comes in, he has left the organization or he has switched to some other department. Whenever a new person he is going to come in, so what is the use of documentation API or documentation comment? It just provides a description about the website. So what are all the different classes that are present? What are all the different variables? What are all the different methods that are present inside my project? Clear? So why we have to go for different types of comments? So basically I can just have a single line comment and I can just complete my work. So what is the use of different types of comments? So based on my requirement, so for better readability and for better understandability and maintainability of the code, I can go for different types of comments. If I want a brief description about each and every line of code, say for example, I am just initializing some variables. I am developing a website for an educational institution. So I am just initializing some variables. What is the name of my name of the student, age of the student? So I can go for single line comments. It is prepended by 2 forward slashes. Or I want to know, I am defining some user defined methods. In such cases, I can go for multi-line comments, /** and ***. And when I can go for this documentation comment. So whenever I want to know, so what are all the different classes that are present, what are all the different methods, variables. In such cases, I can go for this documentation comments. Clear with this? So what do you mean by this comment? So why I have to go for different types of comments? So documentation comment is one important commenting. So whenever I am developing some bigger websites, you can imagine I am developing a website for a restaurant or I am developing a website for a hospital. So based on my requirement, I can go for different types of comments. I will just show you a simple example of this documentation comment. Clear? So I am going to create a class. Whenever I want to create any new class, just right click this package and there is an option called new option. I am going to create a new Java class. So I have to give the class name. So whatever is the class name, I have to give the corresponding class name and I have to click the finish button. So I am just creating a class. So what is the use of this documentation comment? Let me just give you a simple example of this documentation comment. So I am just creating a class inside this. So whatever packages I need, I have to import the corresponding package. So I don't require this. I can just include this as a commenting section. Just click the save button. Alright, so if I don't require, so I can just ignore otherwise. So this is the main use of this documentation comment. So what do you mean by this documentation comment? So it is enclosed within this. So whenever I want to create any documentation comment, so it is just enclosed within this /**, similar to multi-line comment. The multi-line comments are enclosed within /** and */*. And what is the use of this documentation comment? They are enclosed within /**. I am just giving here calculation of numbers. So what does this program do? So it just provides a description about my code. What that piece of code, what is this program doing? Similarly, when I am developing some bigger website, so I want to know what this website is doing or what this project is doing. This program implements an application to perform operations such as addition of numbers and print the result. It is going to make the code readable and easy to understand. Clear? So it just provides a description about this project or this code, what this code is doing. You can just see here, it is enclosed within this. This method calculates the summation of two integers. So I am passing two arguments, two integer arguments. So at param, so I am passing two parameters. You can see, it just provides a description, an elaborate description, a detailed explanation. So just by looking at this documentation comment, I can just understand. So when I'm building some bigger websites, so I want to know the list of all the classes, what are all the different classes that are used in this project, and what are all the different methods that are used, user-defined methods, and what method is doing. For example, there will be an admin person, there will be a HR person, so I'm writing different servlets. So I want to know, it just provides an elaborate description about my entire project. So how many parameters, you can just understand. So just by looking at this documentation comment, so without looking at my program, so I can just understand what this program is doing. So what is the use of this program? So this method calculates the summation of two integers. Just by looking at this, so I can just say, 1 minute, and it accepts two parameters. You can see here, I am creating a method called sum method, sum function. So it is accepting two parameters, input 1 and input 2. So this is the first parameter to the sum method and this is the second parameter to the sum method. And it returns the addition of input 1 and input 2. So this is the role of this entire function, user-defined method. So it just uses the sum method. Clear with this? So I am creating an object of this class type calculate. And using this object dot, I have to call the corresponding method. I am just calling the sum method and I am passing these two parameters 40 and 20. These two are given as inputs to my sum method. I am just returning the addition of these numbers. The result is returned as an output. Clear with this? So this is one more important type of commenting. So whenever I am developing any bigger websites or projects, I can go for this kind of documentation comment. So from this documentation comment, I can just understand. So what this entire program is doing, it calculates the summation of two integers and input 1, it is the first parameter to the sum method, and input 2, it is the second parameter to the sum method. And it is going to return the addition of input 1 and input 2. Clear with this? With this, I am just stopping today. If you have any doubts, you can just ask me. If you are interested, you can go to Pantech e-learning and you can register for Java Full Stack Masterclass program, JFSMC. This is the coupon code. Once you register for the internship, you will be getting access to the PPTs, the recorded videos, the project files, how the projects are being developed. You will be gaining more practical knowledge. Once you attend this masterclass for 25 days, you will be receiving a free webinar certificate, and the internship users, they will be receiving an internship certificate as well as a participation certificate. Alright, if you are interested, you can go to Pantech e-learning and you can register for Java Full Stack Masterclass program, JFSMC. This is the coupon code. Once you register for the internship, you will be getting access to the PPTs, the recorded videos, the project files, how the projects are being developed. You will be gaining more practical knowledge. Once you attend this masterclass for 25 days, you will be receiving a free webinar certificate, and the internship users, they will be receiving an internship certificate as well as a participation certificate. Any doubts in today's topic? Everything clear? Yes, documentation comment. So I was just illustrating, right? So what is the use of this documentation comment? So it just provides a brief description. For example, I am developing a bigger project. So I want to know. So just by looking at this documentation comment, without looking at the program, I can just understand what this program is doing. This method calculates the summation of two integers. So input 1, this is the first parameter to the sum method, and input 2, so it accepts two parameters. This is the second parameter to the sum method. And it is going to return the addition of two numbers, input 1 and input 2. Any doubts? I hope I am clear with my topics. Any doubts in today's topic? You want me to explain documentation comment. So I was just explaining, right? So for example, when I am developing some websites, for example, I am developing a website for a corporate company, or I am developing a website for some other organization, say for example, a hospital management system. So I want to know, so what are all the different classes that are present, and what are all the different user-defined methods, and what are all the different variables that are present. So I can go for this documentation comment. Any doubts? Alright then. Okay. We have class tomorrow. Remaining things we will see tomorrow. Same time, Thank you all.